out in the socials. We're going to let in our Zoom participants as well. Hello, everyone on Zoom. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to spotlight myself and spotlight our guest for the today. And we're going to get started with the interview momentarily. Again, this is Piano Tech Radio Hour. This is your first time here. Keep an eye out for links in the chat and the socials. Try to get you into the Zoom room if possible. And yeah, we'll get started momentarily. I'm going to actually see if I can grab the streaming links for our guest today. And so he is able to share them. Let's see here, copy link here. So Edgar, this one is YouTube, YouTube
Cool.
1.
Okay.
See here. Yeah, that's probably the best YouTube. And then I've got a Facebook one for you. There you go. And then if you're chatting on those channels, you can share the link, the Zoom link, which I think you already have. I can give it to you though.
Oops.
All right, there you go. All right. Yes, everyone, this is Piano Tech Radio Hour, and we're about to get started with an introduction to the program, and we will do that just about now. So, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. We gather here every Saturday to meet with and learn from the most fascinating and knowledgeable folks in the piano world, including manufacturers, rebuilders, musicians, makers of other instruments, and of course, piano techs. Our mutual goal is to become better at our craft, to help each other, and to create an ever more musical world together. Piano Tech Radio Hour is brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, an online learning resource that brings you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. Find out more at pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. You can also subscribe to Piano Tech Radio Hour, this program, for just $16 a month. You get direct access to each week's private Zoom call, as well as all the archival recordings of over 200 episodes in our member area. Join using the link bit.ly/join PTRH. That's bit.ly/join PTRH. Also, don't forget we have a podcast audio-only version of the program you can find at pianotechradio.com. We're popular all over the world, reaching top 100, top 10, even number 1 in the performing arts category in iTunes, in various locales. And you can also find written summaries and explanations of our masterclasses from the vault on the blog at Substack, pianotechniciansmasterclass.substack.com. Also follow us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and get on our email list by going to the website, pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. I would love to introduce our guest for the day. His name is Edgar van Asselt. He's a
Correct.
pianist,
Yeah.
composer, and cultural entrepreneur. After earning a degree in applied economics, he committed fully to music, studying at the Royal Conservatory in The Hague while performing, teaching, and building his own projects. As a band leader and collaborator, he's worked with artists including David Schnitter, Lucy Woodward, Jorge Vistel, Robertinho Silva, Ack van Rooijen, Jorge Rossy, and Jeroen Vierdag, and also has led music initiatives in The Hague that shaped his approach to collaboration and community building. Edgar, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Ethan. It's a pleasure. It's nice to be here.
So tell us where you are right now. Looks like it's a little bit dark and
Well,
cozy.
I'm in the comfort of my own living room, so I'm feeling pretty good here.
Okay.
And it just yeah.
What time is
It's
it?
it's now past 8 o'clock. I guess your time is like 2 in the afternoon, right?
I'm at 1 p.m.
Something
because
like
I'm
that.
in Chicago. But yes, for some of
Oh,
us, yes,
Chicago.
it's 2
Okay.
p.m.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear how music came into your life. We love to explore that at the beginning of the program. When you were a young person, what were your first exposures and how did you come to realize this is going to be such an important part of your journey?
Mhm. Yeah, my folks were into music, and they had at that time we had vinyl in the house because we didn't have streaming and all kinds of other stuff. And I like to listen to the radio, and I remember that one of the first songs I really dug was what was it? Roger Glover. What is it? All is love is all. That's right. You know that song? It's and it had a dancing rabbit to it. So what do you need more as a 6-year-old? And I really dug and it after goes to 3/4. So I was already in branching into odd meters. So no, I really dug the song, and I dug the music video that went along with it. And my father played piano and accordion as well, which is actually was the first instrument I started on.
Nice.
And I liked it, but I liked the piano better. So about one year later, I started piano lessons when I was like 6 years old, and that's actually the start of my journey. Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
And how did you know that it was going to become so central? How did you know you were going to become a professional musician? When did that turning point? Because you studied what I say economics, right?
Yeah, I have a bachelor in applied economics as well.
Were you thinking about being a professional musician while you were studying that, or did you really think,
Yeah,
okay, this is
yeah,
what I'm going to
definitely.
do?
Definitely. I mean, and I got into jazz when I was about 15, 16, and started listening to Bill Evans, Keith Jarrett, etc.,
Mm.
which really blew me away at that time. It was something out of my world. And but then I got in a discussion with my folks, and especially my dad wanted me to have a proper education before embarking on an artistic journey, which I didn't like it at that time because
Right.
I could I knew I could do it, but it just it wasn't really where my heart was, but I did it anyway. And in the end it wasn't such a bad decision because, as you know, that artistic careers can be volatile. They can have
Hmm.
ups and downs and stuff like that. So it kind of helped me, that education, to get quality jobs in during periods that I wasn't really gigging much, or I wasn't into what was happening at the scene, etc. So it gave me a backup, and yeah, and it helped me, and also because later on I started developing my own projects, which involves writing subsidy applications and making budgets and stuff like that. So
Mm.
it kind of came in handy for the business part of the journey.
Indeed, that is the part that a lot of artists neglect just due to ignorance, not understanding those details. So
Yeah,
that is useful. We do end up having to be sort of jacks of all trade as independent artists. So
yeah,
might as well have
yeah,
something up your sleeve.
exactly. Yeah.
So in addition to having that experience, you're involved in
Hmm.
some other things beyond just being a performing pianist. You compose, you
Hmm.
produce, you teach.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how those things influence each other, and kind of shape your relationship to the sound of the instrument.
Like that. Yeah. They influence each other in various ways. I mean, I have taught on different levels, from beginners to conservative students. I was teaching in the Codas Conservatory in Rotterdam for a while, for about a year. And the whole teaching process kind of really forces you to reflect on the process of playing piano, even especially if they're very beginners. How do you explain where you start, how to put your fingers, and because you have to really build it up. If you go too fast, then they're not gonna grasp it. So that's an interesting part, an interesting training also in having some patience for the person you're teaching, and patience for yourself in the process of verbalizing all the actions that you need to do in order to play the piano well and effectively. It has a lot of It has a lot of sides, you know. There's technique, there's sound, there's chords, there's melody, and you have to operate all of those variables in real time in order to be a good pianist. So that's on the teaching. And then the composing thing, well, I actually started composing when I was in the conservatory, and I was kind of like processing all those influences, all the music I was listening to, which was in the beginning a lot of jazz. I was really a jazz buff. And then later on, I started discovering a lot of other styles, such as tango, Brazilian music, salsa music, and each of those styles has a very specific sound, right? That you want to dive into first of all, just orally, just to acquaint yourself with the sound that that fits in the specific style, and then later on. As I was processing all this information, I just know that I started composing. And it was kind of an organic thing for me. You know, I never had composition lessons. And I just started hearing melodies, and then I was kind of juggling around. And then I thought, yeah, maybe this chord will fit, and et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of started to have a life of its own, eventually leading to starting my own bands, my own projects, and then later on, when I was already graduated from the conservatory, I also was finding a balance between all those kind of activities, because uh, following your passion, it's a great thing, and I think that's something unique that kind of distinguishes ourselves as musicians. However, like we were just establishing in the beginning, it's a volatile world, and there were periods where I was really doing a lot of gigging, and having a lot of exposure, and also years where there was very little happening. So I try to establish myself a philosophy that I need to have a balance between the playing, the composing, and also later on I kind of worked on a job which was more about community building and community art, which was also very interesting. And because of the budgets that I could work with, I could, for instance, bring Robertinho Silva over, which is one of the leading drummers from Brazil. He worked with Herbie Hancock, with Wayne Shorter, really one of the goats of Brazilian music. And being able to work with him and seeing how he taught, and his conception from teaching, and eventually also being able to play with him. So it's all, for me, it's a kind of organic thing that kind of starts with the idea that that it's all kind of feeding each other, and also from the idea that you got to have, in this business, you got to be able to wear multiple hats. And if you put all your eggs in one basket, it's a tricky thing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great to see how everything interleaves. And I find that as well, myself and other people who are creative or multi-talented, y- once you get in the groove, sometimes it's hard to figure out how to even define yourself, because all these things flow together quite nicely.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Let's listen to one of your recordings and maybe also get a view of it. I'm thinking the Brazilian Soul recording. You
Oh yeah.
mentioned Robertinho Silva, so maybe it'd be
Yeah.
appropriate first thing to check out.
Yeah, that's
All
fine.
right,
Yeah.
wonderful. Let me do a screen share on that. Get that set up. So share here, share sound, and you should be able to see that. Let me know if you have any issues. And
Oops.
just expand that full screen and get this out of the way. Here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm really happy to announce the release of my new EP called Celebrate. It's a Brazilian jazz project featuring the legendary Robertinho Silva on drums and percussion, the late great Ack van Rooijen, and a selection of absolutely fantastic musicians. Never released before, so I'm really happy to share it with you now. You can listen to it in the link underneath, and I hope you enjoy it very much. Take care.
That's nice. I like that. It's a great little sample. Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Yeah.
So, have you been to Brazil?
No, I'd
I
like
haven't
to.
either. I would really like to go.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Let's organize a trip.
Yeah.
That sounds, I've that's something I have I done some of that. I'm looking into doing some of that, organizing trips, It's fun to do, get
I
a few
was yeah, I
people
was just about
together.
to mention, and be a tour promoter as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
piano tech. Yeah, why not? I mean, you have to think outside the box, It's one of my strongholds, I think.
Yeah, maybe yeah, we'll ideate on it. I mean, maybe it's a little our own little jazz festival where we have a few musicians come out and play for the locals, and then some of the people who come out, who knows.
That's like excellent idea.
Have you done any traveling? I know like there's opportunities with various cultural centers in various cities globally, and I'll bring people in from. I'm sure in Europe there you can get around pretty easily. I don't know outside of out of Europe or what's been your experience there?
Yeah, well, I did some travels. I was traveling with tango band. We were touring in Spain, Italy. Later on, also with my own project with David Schnitter, who's an American saxophone player, and he used to live in Spain, so we used to play over there. Later on, also with Lucy Woodward, who's a great singer from the States, and she now lives in the Netherlands as well. So, and we were doing some festivals in Italy and stuff like that, So, yeah, and I had my share of traveling, yeah, but would still like to do more. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been to play in there's kind of like a winery that has concerts outside of Barcelona, Spain.
Which
Have you
one?
been? I'm trying to remember what this place is called. I can't remember it, but there's a pianist who's from Spain that we've had on the
Oh,
program, Chano Dominguez. Remember Chano
really?
Dominguez?
Yeah, he's a great pianist. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
He used to be my neighbor when I lived in Brooklyn. And so I tuned his piano and then we became friends
Ah, cool.
and he moved
Yeah,
back to Spain during the pandemic and so forth. And I went to visit him and he played at this winery and it was fun to go kind of check it out. So, but
nice. Yeah.
Spain is a great place to visit and be able to play some music in, I'm sure.
Yeah, I recently did a trip to Pamplona, which is in the north of Spain, and I was working with a big band from the conservatory over there. And yeah, I'm still waiting for the video footage. It's coming soon, they've told me, but it was really a nice experience to visit the conservatory over there and have a look at their everybody has a different approach to music, and that's cool to check out. So yeah, I hope to go back there. It was really nice. Yeah, really, really, really friendly people. Really, yeah, I enjoyed it.
I know you decided consciously, we talked about the different areas that you've been in, the different things that you do. And I think it maybe is about 5 years ago, you've said that you decided to focus exclusively on music and you
Hmm.
do the composition and production yourself. What sparked that moment in your life?
Well, it was actually during the lockdown that I made the decision. And just before that lockdown, I was like curating a series of a concert series um, in a venue in the place where I lived, which was really nice to do. And it's also where the recordings from the live recordings with Ack van Rooijen were made, the song for Lost Friends. It was one of his last recordings. He was 90 years old by that time. And then the lockdown came, and we had to switch to remote, and we did concerts without audience, which was a really strange experience, I have to tell you. And after that, I was kind of thinking, okay, where do I want to go from here? Because obviously, I mean, it's really cool to organize your own concert series because hey, you're in charge. You know, you can call whoever you want. You can you can do your own repertoire, stuff like that. So it was really nice to do that. On the other hand, it was super time consuming because you know you have to promote it, you have to sell tickets, you have to it's like a dozen of things or even more that you have to take care of. And at the same time, I was, and I always have ideas, so I always recording on my phone. And I had this idea for an album to make an album called The Gentle Insult. Because I thought that it really had a ring. I mean, I like absurdism, and as a concept, and also absurdism like Monty Python and there's a lot because it really puts your mind in a place that you don't go regularly. I mean, you were talking about neuroscience and stuff like that. I like to expose the audience to concepts that are a little bit thought-provoking, right? So, like the gentle insult, it's like an oxymoron. It's an insult, isn't usually not gentle. It's harsh and people clash, which is kind of the world we live in right now. And I guess I wanted to come up with something that took that concept and took it to another angle, and decided to write all the composite to make compositions. I kind of locked myself up for a month and just started writing. And by that time I had already called the rhythm section, so I could kind of put my a gun to my head to make sure that I would actually do it, because this is the thing with creative ideas, that if you're creative, you basically have a million of ideas, but how many of those ideas are actually going to materialize,
Sure.
And it can be frustrating at times because you have a lot of ideas like me floating around. But you're kind of caught up in the motions of, for instance, organizing a concert series and just dealing with family and paying bills and that kind of stuff. And at the other time, you have
Don't
this, yeah.
worry about paying the bills.
No, I know it's an old-fashioned concept, but
Yeah, come on.
yeah, what are we talking about? So I
That's for
decided,
losers.
I know, yeah. I decided to, yeah, really confront myself with the fact that I wanted to do it, isolated myself, and wrote the whole repertoire for the album. So
Mm.
that's why it stemmed from. And by the same time, I kind of hooked up with my producer, um, Andrew Reid. He's Australian, and he also has a jazz magazine, a jazz website. It's called Jazz in Europe, and yeah, we get together really well. And then this was like an extra incentive for me because I had done so much things on my own, and it gets kind of lonely also, and kind of, you don't share the fun and you don't share the burden. So yeah, I don't know, it got kind of lonely, and then I hooked up with him, and it was like an extra incentive also because he has a big network, and he has good ideas on producing music. And so there was a kind of a thing that kind of sped up the process of the
Sure.
creative process that I was in. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we kind of are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the term, I came across this term many years ago, and it's just called a forcing function, right? It's something
Oh yeah.
that you implement, and it kind of makes all knocks
Yeah,
down some of more of the dominoes, right? So you call the
yeah,
musicians and you say, hey, we're going to do this. Okay, so now I
yeah,
got to pull this together. You start
yeah,
working with a collaborator. Okay, now I've got someone to be accountable for. We're going to do this together. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I was curious if you had any other tips about that experience. Maybe nothing else comes to mind because you shared a lot, especially about the kind of creating accountability side of it. But I know, say somebody's going to write a book, or say I'm going to write this a certain amount a day, or was there anything that you did operationally in your life to make sure there was space for this, or was it just those forcing functions and then you just kind of fit it in?
Well, I kind of dove into. Let me show you two books that were really inspirational. I got them,
Oh yeah.
right here. Yeah. This is, oh yeah, oh, they're right next to each other. So this is the first one. It's called Willpower Doesn't Work, which is
Okay.
true. And this book is really about, we're taught to
Yeah.
strive and to put stress and pressure on ourselves. This is about creating conditions that will make you work. So
Mm.
it's the thing I did with the composition process. I just isolated myself and I
Mm.
called musicians. So I made sure that if you fail, you kind of look like stupid to yourself and to
Mm.
other people.
Right.
Um, so this is just a way of creating your conditions to make sure that you start working. Another book that's really good is this one, The War of Art.
Oh, I'm familiar with that one. Yeah.
Stephen Pressfield. Stephen Pressfield, and I reached out to him. He was really nice, and he congratulated me on the process. And this is really about all the mental pitfalls that you have to that you can fall into. Whether it be procrastination, whether it be waiting for a break, whether it will be what is this fear that comes in a perfectionism, which is just
Hmm.
another form of fear, of course.
Hmm.
And Stephen Pressfield also labels this resistance with an
Mm.
umbrella, which it is, but the mind is very cunning. And I think this is an important part for me. If you really want to have your own work out, there's only one person that you have to start managing, which is yourself. And it's hard. I'm not denying it's hard, but I think you just have to do it.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
those are great recommendations. Yeah. And sometimes
Yeah.
reading a book about it can be your form of procrastination. That'll really blow your mind, right? It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
should
yeah,
I
yeah,
be
yeah. I
reading
know.
this book by Stephen Pressfield or should I be doing the thing? Or like, oh, is this
Well,
um
then you just block times in the morning. But what I do in
yeah.
the morning is, and I sometimes sin against it. It just start with meditation or taking a walk or reading some stuff that's inspiring, and then after that you start to work. So that's
What
my
kind of
way.
meditation do you do? Just a simple sitting there? Do you do a specific
Just
style
yeah,
or
just mindfulness, and sometimes I did the Zen meditation for a long time, just sitting on a cushion. It's all fine. Mindfulness is really good. Yeah, there's like a million meditations out there, and but it's really good. Especially, I mean, the creativity is great, but if before you know, it kind of really takes over your mind, and you just keep spinning one idea after each other and not getting to the stage where you really get down and work.
Mm.
So I use my phone a lot just to record my ideas, just download it, get it out there, and then I try to block specific times and dates for to do the recording. And it kind of goes in phases, and there's phases where I hardly touch the piano, like the last couple of weeks, and there's phases where I spend a lot of time behind the piano. So yeah, it's kind of finding a balance between all those energies. It's complicated.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing about your process. I would love to listen and then to some more music, maybe view another video. You mentioned the gentle insult and this
Oh, yeah,
approach. So how about we go to Madness of the Clouds? What do you think?
very good idea. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me pull that up. And here we go. Actually, share better sound. Thanks for sharing that one. Tell us about your journey with that piece.
Madness of the Clouds. Well, it's actually, when I think it was, either post Corona, during Corona, I like nature. So a lot of times I would just go out during the day and take a walk. And there's a beautiful nature surroundings where I used to live. I've got other nature surroundings now, and sometimes I just like to lay down and look at the clouds. And it's actually I find it very intriguing myself because you got all these forms and the shapes and they change by second and then it's gone, you know. So it's very almost a Zen experience, very momentaneous. And I try to, you know, to write the piece out of that same mindset. You know, there's one note leading to the other, and there's some classical stuff in it, and then in the end I finish with a free piano outro. So yeah, that's kind of how it feels. It's a bit impressionistic. That's how, you know, Matters of the Clouds feel to me. There's a story behind it.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. And I feel these are things I have an 8-year-old, and
All right.
one of the things I love about having kids, is you get reminded about the simple things that, I mean, to be honest, an 8-year-old these days probably doesn't want to watch the clouds.
No, well, I've
But
got kids too that age, and they you know, just think it's boring. I hope
right.
they catch up somewhere later along the way. But
But yeah, that
um,
used to be the thing to do when you were a kid, right? Back in the day.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
watch the clouds, after
yeah.
you play some baseball or whatever.
I grew up without the mobile phone, so I'm
Of
still
course, yeah.
used to it. Good old days, you know?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I feel like on that note, um, no pun intended, you should look into an artist residency. It's called Jerossi, DJERASSI. And
Okay.
they have it's in California in the Santa
Uh-huh.
Cruz Mountains. It's right
Okay.
outside of Palo Alto, where Stanford University is.
Uh-huh.
It was
Hmm.
started by this man named Carl Gerasi, and I believe he was Austrian descent, but really smart guy. He basically invented birth control, and then made a revolution of all sorts. Made a lot of money, um and he had bought this cattle ranch,
Uh-huh.
and his family would stay there, and unfortunately his daughter, she had a house
Hmm.
on the property, and she was an artist, and she kind of got isolated in on the property. She ended up actually committing suicide, but
Oh,
in her honor he started this artist residency, which has been going on for decades now.
all right.
and uh they have a beautiful piano there, a little studio, and they have also all other types of artists come and join, writers and
Oh,
painters.
wow.
They have a dance studio.
Hmm.
And um what I did the residency actually twice,
Hmm.
and it's an application based thing. So you get to stay there for free. You get, make your meals every day. You get to hang out with the other
Oh,
artists or walk the
nice.
property. But it's this
Hmm.
giant property in the mountains.
Oh, wow.
And you made me think of that because it's meant to give the creators and artists, space to
Yeah.
just do what they want to do, and kind of just be inspired by the location.
Yeah.
And there is so much to that you just can't appreciate unless you're there, right? I feel like you only notice there's something missing in my life with the computers and the screens and the da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. And if
Yeah.
you could just get dropped out there, you go, oh, this was it. It was some clouds and some trees.
Amazing, huh? Yeah, we kind of lost the connection with nature and our surroundings more or less, you know. And a lot of times I find myself trapped also in the screens and what I need to do in my to-do list and my releases and stuff like that. And I mean, it's stuff we have to do it, of course, because otherwise we can't connect with other people. And but at the same time, you know, it's so imperative to ground yourself and take a walk. I make sure I at least take a walk, you know, every day in nature and just enjoy nature and try not to think about other things, you know. It's hard. Um, but yeah, like you say, you really need to do it in order to appreciate it. It's not something you can tick off on a to-do list.
Now, have you ever done a type of experience where you're away kind of from technology for a series of days, like maybe a hike or camping, or, just a fast from technology, or is that something you've tried?
Yeah, in the past, before technology really
Before
emerged.
it existed, yeah, but I feel
But
like it's a different experience, yeah. But yeah, no, so not exactly, not exactly.
no, but I would really like to structure my life in a way that, I have at least one day completely away from the screens or from technology, and it will be difficult because you have to record myself. And I
Hmm.
still have to bring my laptop out. Um, but I think it will be good, just not to be in the mind space the whole time, and thriving can manage that in some kind of way. Yeah, so absolutely. And the retreat sounds like a treat.
Yes, no, absolutely. And that's a place where you can do something like that. In fact, I mean, nowadays I think they can't help but just have okay Wi-Fi there. But when it was early, the first time I
Yeah,
went there, the Wi-Fi was terrible and
yeah,
they knew it and they were like, yep, the Wi-Fi is terrible. And that's on purpose.
yeah,
You can't get on the internet. But you made me think about that when you've actually mentioned it a couple times, right? I have all the responsibilities, I have to pay the bills and and just talking about it generally now in the technology. And what I found is really fascinating about these times where you just get away, but like a hike, been on a hike
yeah,
for several days, take the laptop, put it over there, the
yeah,
phone doesn't even work, all this stuff. It's amazing after a couple days how all of the things that seemed really important actually stop even feeling important anymore.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, like I was really concerned about this and this and this and this, and maybe four out of these five things seem completely unnecessary now.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting experience.
Yeah, no, no, you're absolutely right. And yeah, it is. And I want to find some more integration of the non-screen in my life. Um,
Me
Looking
too.
for that. And because yeah, it's really important if you want to be creative and you don't, and there's just a lot of noise the whole time. Then it's hard to really get the inspiration and the downloads and the time you need to dedicate to make things work. So yeah, this is like the challenge of our time. The hashtag. Overwhelm and people are, yeah, and just overthinking and that kind of stuff. It's not unfamiliar for me, um but we have to find a way, with it, I think, with or without
I
it.
think I think live music is even one of those ways. I would
Yeah.
love to check out another recording. I'd love for you to pick now. We have a handful that you sent along. What do you think would be a good next one to
um
feature?
shall we do a solo piano track?
Sure.
Okay. What do you prefer? I'll let you pick a track. We can either do Bill Evans or we can do Jobim. What do you prefer?
Oh, that's a tough one. All
Yeah,
right,
that's a
let's
tough one. Yeah. Yeah.
oh man, okay. Let's go. What's your take on Bill Evans? So we'll go to Time Remember. We're
Time
gonna do this
remember.
on SoundCloud. I'm gonna share screen anyway, just to give us something interesting to look at here.
All right.
And we'll hit that. And here we go. Let's make sure we're at the beginning. Oh wait, yeah, should be sharing sound. Like the ending there.
Okay, thank you. Open.
Yeah, I mean, as a piano tuner, it's nice to hear the resonance of the instrument. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's such a nice, Bill Evans tunes are so harmonically engaging and always, and I've been checking a couple of quite a lot of them, and you know, and I'd like to do a YouTube series on some of his compositions, because they got stuff that you only see if you really zoom into. For instance, Time Remembered. It's a weird tune, right? Because it's not the tonal center is not defined. That's one thing, and it goes, and it starts. It's in C-ish because it starts, on B minor, it ends on C minor, and there's a lot of stuff happening there, and there's a lot of upper chord structures, just to get into the nitty gritty, and it's, but it has such a unique signature that, and I, and that's why Bill Evans is such a big inspiration, because he found such a deep harmonic language, and he really was a big innovator of the jazz trio, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Bill Evans is I think probably my first. You reminded me earlier of when you were just kind of talking about listening to some of these artists, Keith Jarrett, and
Yeah,
kind of you
yeah,
said they opened your mind, and I
yeah,
remember to what's possible or kind of what is this, and I
yeah,
specifically remember it was my first year of university. I was not a music major, but I had played some jazz, and I would listen to folks like Herbie Hancock or Bill Evans,
yeah.
and I would literally go, "How do they do that? Like how could I ever do that? And
Mhm.
it inspired me to, try to get there. And I think I remember listening to myself at one point. I'm like, I kind of sound like Herbie Hancock, not bad. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to forget when you look back at musical history, when you look at the iconic pieces and the iconic artists, it's easy
yeah,
to forget how groundbreaking they were at the
yeah.
time. And now they're
Mhm.
just part of the lexicon, and you just hear it, when you're shopping at the grocery store, and it's.
Oh, they play Bill Evans at the grocery store in your
I mean,
place?
probably play it at. I was trying to figure the Starbucks, maybe. Yeah, probably do. To be honest.
Okay. I,
Do you
th
go
I think
Starbucks? They have Starbucks over there, right?
Yeah, we
Starbucks
got
is
Starbucks,
everywhere.
but a lot of those in Holland we don't get a lot of jazz in venues. Yes, some venues do, but they only. I don't know. Didn't they all switch to AI music right now? All the coffee shops because it's cheaper to produce. I mean, this is the time we live in, right?
Maybe. Yeah, could be. Um, but I think, yeah, I mean, I think that is one thing that some close friends of mine who I respect the opinion of have concluded that, despite the fact that AI can make music, I think those artists that create something special and significant
Yeah.
live are going
Hmm.
to emerge as what's special, right? When you can,
Yeah.
nobody's going to go see an AI live jazz performance. Like that doesn't even
No.
make sense. Like, why would you do that?
No.
The idea
Yeah,
is
exactly.
you're kind of watching what humans can do, like experiencing how organically we can express ourselves and,
Yeah.
enjoying that. So, we've got that going for us there. Um, I think I really want to listen to Desafinado now.
All right.
So I want
Let's
another
do that.
chance. Yeah, so
Let's do
let's
that.
let me pull that up. Perfect. We'll do the screen share on that. And here we go. Oh, sign in. What are you talking about? I didn't have to do that before. Oh, come on.
You have to sign in. Oh my God.
Yes. I guess maybe you only get to listen to a couple of tracks without signing in. Here we go.
Oh no, I think you got
Here
it
we go.
working, I think.
Right, there we go. Thank you very much. Beautiful.
Welcome. Welcome. Yeah. Recorded from my own shed.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I put a quiz question out there for you live audience members. Anybody want to take a stab at the answer? What does desafinado mean in English? Type now or forever hold your peace. I'm going to give it away. We'll wrap up here momentarily because we'd like to cut it right at the hour.
All
I'll
right.
give our audience members a chance to see if they can get that in there. Anything you'd like to highlight before we sign off? Send us anywhere. Tell us about something coming up. Inspire us with some words of wisdom. What do you got?
Well, please follow my YouTube channel, and you can go to my website edgarvanasselt.com. Maybe you want to put it in the
In the chat, sure.
in the chat, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to just stay in touch. I really enjoyed the interview, and I'll listen back. If you can share the
Recording,
retreat,
sure.
yeah.
The retreat. Oh yeah, let's
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Together.
the retreat, and I would really love to look into that. And well, it really inspired me as well, and it's really nice to exchange ideas and inspiration with somebody who's on the same page as I am. So thank you very much for inviting me, and it was definitely my pleasure. I would love to be back, and yeah, let's keep in touch.
Wonderful. Sounds good. Well, I'll walk us off, but before I do that, I will answer the quiz question of what does desafinado mean in English, because it's very apropos to this program with us as piano tuners. A couple hints. The word for piano tuner in Spanish is afinador de pianos. And if you're going to tune a piano, va a afinar, you're going to tune. And so desafinado means out of tune. Yes. Thus the image in your cover art up there.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, it's a little Spanish lesson before we sign off today. All right, I'm going to do our outro material and then we'll say goodbye for the day. Thank you for everyone who's been joining us here. It's been a wonderful time. We've reached the end of another musical journey here at Piano Tech Radio Hour. As always, we're brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, cutting edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. For those of you that joined us today, by signing up for the session individually, you can make your life more convenient by subscribing to Piano Tech Radio Hour. It's just $16 a month. You get the recording of today's session in our member area, as well as automatic registration for each week's new session. Sign up at bit.ly/join PTRH. That's bit.ly/join PTRH. Don't forget about the podcast for audio only versions of the program, the Substack for blog posts, the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Get on the email list when you hit the website, pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. And without further ado, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you all again next week. And Edgar, I'll see you back on the link in a moment and we'll do a quick wrap up. Okay.